Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video, we are going to do a tier list for the Week 2 trade deadline Master Set players and taking a look at the Master Set so far from this event. I'll say a couple things. One, they've done a great job in balancing these Master Set players. I can't remember an event where on my free-to-play team, I had such a difficult decision trying to decide who to go with, and I think that's a good thing. I think we had a long stretch of players where all of the Master Set cards had Truculence or Elite Edges or Unstoppable Force, and while that does make them the best cards in the game, I think it also makes it extremely lame when every card has that, so that is something to keep in mind. Alright, so by the end of this video, hopefully I can help you, regardless of your team makeup, make some decisions when it comes to the trade deadline Master Set players. Alright, so if you did not see my Week 1 Master Set ranking tier list, you can go back and watch that video as I cover all of the Week 1 players. We are going to start in the B tier, and it's going to be the 94 Max DOMI. Now again, for anyone that wants to freak out, if I put a card very low, it does not mean that that card is bad. It just simply means that in terms of the other cards and their value compared to the other Master Set players, it's just lower than the other ones. So the reason why Max DOMI is in the B tier is simply because, well, his size. He's got 5'10", 194, and no Unstoppable Force. Like I mentioned in the intro, Unstoppable Force has really become the norm, and it's how you counter players that have Truculence. A lot of defenders that have Truculence, especially at the high end, like Boom and Shea Weber, they throw everyone off the puck, and the only real way to counter it right now is Unstoppable Force. Since Max DOMI is a smaller player, not having it makes it even harder for him to hold on to the puck. If you think back to the Next Gen event, Connor Bedard was kind of the right-handed version of this, almost the same build. I made Connor Bedard on my no money spent team, and he has been kind of a letdown. I will say Unstoppable Force helps a little bit because the players that aren't, 6'5" and they're around 6 foot, 6'1", they don't really knock him off the puck as much because of Unstoppable Force, but Max DOMI is going to get thrown around. That being said, he is going to have 96 speed and acceleration. Very, very quick card. Elite Edges is one of the best abilities in the game. However, it does have 8 ability points as a cost, so if he's not going to be on your first line, it's going to be very hard to justify activating that. Truculence is very good, but in terms of all positions that have Truculence, Winger would be the least impactful one. So again, all in all, just really not worth it when it comes to all of the other ones. That's why Max DOMI is in the B tier. All right, moving on to the A tier, we've got the 94 Bill GUERIN. Now, he does have Fly the Zone, so he can get up to 93 speed, 94 acceleration. He has got a phenomenal build, 6'2", 220. Here is what's keeping him out of the S tier. It's essentially just because he's only a right-handed winger. He can't play center. I think at center, this would probably have a little bit more value. As well, Born Leader really loses its value as the year goes along because essentially what it does, when he scores, your line will get a gigantic boost and you can put your first line back out there, let's say. But because everyone has really high endurance as the game goes along, Born Leader loses a lot of its value. Close Quarters is phenomenal. We've talked about that a lot. And Truculence is impactful, but like I just mentioned, you really don't need Truculence on someone who's 6'2", 220 with 95 body checking, so that's kind of a waste. That's the only reason keeping him out of the S tier. I don't think you can go wrong at all with Bill GUERIN if you do need a right-handed winger. Let's say, for example, you have Nathan MacKinnon's Team of the Year, and you haven't really upgraded right-handed wingers since, like, Jack Eichel from the Nations of Hockey event. You don't have Mario Lemieux. Bill GUERIN would be a phenomenal card if he's going to be in your top 6. The other thing to keep in mind as well, guys, is when it comes to Master Set players, you don't always have to look at their abilities. Because if you wipe out all the abilities on Bill GUERIN, he's still a phenomenal build and has great attributes. But all in all, he's in the A tier. Next up in the A tier, we've got the 94 Seth Jones. Now, a couple people that I've talked to that have used Seth Jones give him glaring recommendations. He has been phenomenal. I have not personally tested out Seth Jones, so I don't want to say in terms of my own opinion on him, but Distributor gets him up to 93 acceleration, 93 speed with buzzing. Again, I mentioned this in the video yesterday. That's a tough combo to activate if you don't have Team of the Years and things like that, because those are the two worst speed synergies. Like, you'd want to have Spark and Fly the Zone over these two, obviously. The reason why he's so good, 6'4", 213, 95 body checking, extremely good. There's no taking away from that. And stick him up on someone who's very big is much more impactful than having stick him up on, let's say, Brian Campbell, because the range is a lot smaller. The other 3 abilities, though, you're really not going to touch. The reason why Seth Jones, in my opinion, is not in the S tier is because of Shea Weber. You can go back to the All-Star event, make Shea Weber with silver truculence. He's basically the same skater, and he will absolutely dominate in the own zone more than Seth Jones would at a much more discounted cost. You also have to remember that the S tier in my rankings is a must-make, have to make before the event ends if you want to have, the most competitive team, that kind of thing. You're not going to go wrong with this Seth Jones, and really, this was the toughest decision for me personally on my no money spent team because I have not made a right-handed defenseman since Mike Green. I still have Mike Green as well as Mackenzie Weegar, but even Mackenzie Weegar with Truculence activated is just such a good card. Truculence really changes the game in NHL 23, and because Seth Jones doesn't have it, that's why he's not in the S tier, but he's still a fantastic defenseman if you don't want to go and make Shea Weber. Next up in the A tier is the 94 Hampus Lindholm, 6'4", 215, and I gotta be honest, much like Seth Jones, the only reason he's not in the S tier is because there's so many good left-handed defensemen right now. And even that being said, if you were to, in a vacuum, put all of the cards from this event, Hampus Lindholm is probably the best one. The only issue is that he's got gold shutdown. Shutdown is one of the best defensive abilities in the game because it activates and acts like Truculence and Stick 'em Up all in one. However, once you're in the defensive zone, you're obviously not on the rush and it will not activate all the time. It activates more often than not. It considers pretty much everything the rush, but it's still not 100% consistent when someone's cycling in the zone. He's got basically a max shot, good body checking at 92, and basically max 99 stick checking and defensive awareness. He's got 93 speed and acceleration, but there's just so many other good left-handed defensemen from the prior events that kind of knocks down his value because you can go back and make them for a little bit cheaper. You've got Owen Power, Edvidson, even Jake Sanderson I would probably make over this 94 Hampus Lindholm. That's why he's still in the A tier. All right, I am going to go out on a limb here. The only S tier player from this event, the Anthony Mantha. Now, let me explain why. This is the only card that I have gotten to use, personally, and I haven't seen a lot of him because Slafkovsky in the prior event, much like most of these other cards, is just as good and cheaper. Here's the thing, guys. I'm playing only Hut Champ so far. In 12 games, on my second line, he has 15 points. He does not lose the puck at all. And at 94 overall, he's got 93 acceleration. He will get buzzing, so you can go up to 92. His shot is just automatic, and he does not need unstoppable force because he's 6'5", 234. It's already built in. I don't even have close quarters activated on him yet, and I don't even think you need it because his shot just seems to be automatic. This is why the big players in this game, as the year goes along, are just so much more impactful than the smaller ones. They just don't lose the puck. You can hold on to it forever, get into the position that you want, and those far side shots just go in more often than not. Jokes aside, he's probably an A tier player just because you could go back and make Slafkovsky, but I'm going out full recommendation here. This is a send S tier Anthony Mantha. All right, guys, so let me know what you think in the comments section down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.